All right, I'm recording now.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh, okay. So we're doing.
we're live.
Like, we gotta keep that in though. We gotta keep just like the
Like-
first
like-
noise, just being like.
We're live, you know, or we're
Yeah.
live, more like, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. That's yeah. I typed that out. I was like, wait a second. We're live, dude.
We're live.
Yes.
So
Episode 1.
episode 1,
Ugh.
two white guys talking about Japan.
It's certainly not gonna end in tragedy.
Yeah,
good.
I mean, I feel like there's already so many. Well, first of all, there's so many, you know, white guy podcast bros. and, and I think a lot of them
Yeah, but-
talk about Japan.
They're trained in the field. We're like hobbyists or something.
Yeah, we're like,
So we have like a pure energy.
yeah, we have that like,
something else we bring to the table. Yeah.
we have the outsider art power, you know. Never worked in media content creation, never worked on podcasting.
No, I've never used a mic before.
I don't even know what a computer is. Yeah, episode 1, no, Japan trip.
Totally you just cut out a little bit.
I cut out a little bit. I don't know.
I probably picked it up on your end though, so it's pretty fine.
Yeah, I think I picked it up on my end. Like, I'm looking at my OBS voice levels, you know, professional equipment over here, and every time I speak, the green bar goes up, so I think I'm okay.
Yeah. Well, if you can hear me just fine, we'll probably use your recording.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
'Cause I think Discord's cutting you out a little bit.
Yeah, I think Discord is doesn't like my voice. It thinks it's just random noise, so it tries to cut me out.
It's like picking up your cats and shutting everything down.
Yeah, Coast is like running around a little bit. I think he wants to poop. So Joe,
Ugh.
you went to Japan like 2 months ago. You went in October.
Let's see. Let me tell you the exact date. It's almost been 2 months. I think I left on. No, it has been 2 months. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I left on like the 9th, and it's the 8th.
Oh, what a coincidence.
Yeah. This is why we got sick 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, it was destiny. So, when you went to Japan, did you go with any sort of like expectations in your mind? Did you have anything that you thought you knew about Japan before going? It was like you've
Not really. I knew I was gonna make a fool of myself, so I was like kind of nervous in that regard. I was like, I'm just some idiot foreigner just flying in, because you know, like if you're on the internet, you know how over touristy Japan is nowadays, with the yen being the way it is. So I was nervous about that. I'm like, there's gonna be another foreigner in a sea of foreigners.
yeah,
walking around.
I can understand that, but you don't think like, you know, I think a lot of foreigners, you know, they watch anime or they play Japanese video games like Yakuza and Persona, and then they think they know a little bit about Japan, and then they go there and so maybe some of their biases are confirmed, and maybe some things are like, man, I didn't expect this at all. So I was wondering, you know, you've been like much like me, you've been consuming Japanese art and media for many years, pretty much.
Yeah. I wasn't under the illusion, like, you know, I would feel at home. It's like, oh, this is just like the video games and anime I've been playing. Like, there's some, you know, some similarity, like, things, you know. I mean, I just appreciated. We've talked about this. Like, I appreciated everything, you know, that I was taking in, but I definitely didn't feel at home when I got off the boat, you know, or the plane.
You didn't feel, you're like, this is where I belong as soon as you like stepped a single foot into Narita Airport.
Yeah, in Haneda Airport.
Haneda
"This is
Airport.
it."
See, now that the
Yeah.
Godzilla's there, maybe you would feel at home.
I was super excited, but like this is like one of the main like I'm not a super curious person, right? So even though I've grown up with this stuff for, let's see, yeah, it's been like a huge part of my life for like, I don't know, 11 years or so. I've never been like, yeah, man, oh, I'm going to Japan. Which it was like a super chance thing. Like I talked to the guys in like our Discord server we're both in. I talked to the guys and I like told them all the time that it's like, I don't think I ever would have gone if if you guys hadn't planned this.
Yeah, I can understand. Like, I think we both have this thing of we're too comfortable being at home
Yeah,
and
yeah.
too comfortable being by ourselves. So oftentimes we don't seek anything out. So for me, it was
You know.
I think I wanted to go to Japan after graduating university, but that really didn't go well for me because I graduated university as soon as like COVID hit. So
Yeah.
world travel was like a no go, and
You
eventually,
just kind of forgot about it.
later down the
Like,
line, not that I forgot about it, but it was more like I'm in the workforce now and like I'm busy and
yeah, yeah.
so maybe I'll go later, but I don't know when. It'll be hard to kind of make something like that happen.
Mhm.
And one day, my friends are like, we should go to Japan. We've known each other for 15 years now, like 15 or 16 years at this point. Me and my high school friends. So it's crazy to think that I met my high school friends 15 years ago. I guess I am like getting old, but
Yeah, we're getting old. Yeah. Let's see.
so it's like we're getting old. We gotta go to Japan
26.
before
Yeah, yeah.
before our bodies can't
Yeah, before it's
can't handle
over.
it anymore. So we went to Japan, and I
Yeah.
remember like my one of my friends, he's pretty easy to read. I could tell he was like super excited, but also stressed out
Yeah,
because
yeah.
traveling is stressed out. And I was excited, but I also had this thing of like, I don't know what to expect. Like I don't want to assume that I know what Japan is like. Uh,
Yeah,
so
exactly. That's pretty much how I was. I was just like, I have no idea what's about to happen.
and then my other friend, he's hard to read, but he seemed like he was along for the ride. He was really happy to get to hang out with the boys and go on a trip together. And he's also into Japanese stuff, so it was interesting.
From what you told me, like everyone was kind of into, kind of had a little bit of a background. It's like,
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
go,
yeah.
boys.
Like we all we were all into like anime and video games, so that's like the great equalizer. And then everybody else kind of had like sort of little different interests. Like one of my friends is really into like Japanese music, so he was like really excited to see like stuff related to idols and stuff related to just like Japanese bands and things like that. And one of my friends is like, I think he's more there to just kind of have experience new things. So even though he likes video games and anime, I don't I think he was open to almost anything. And then for me, I was like, I want to go to Buddhist temples and I want to eat food and
Yeah.
so we all had like our own little niches that
You guys were well rounded then.
yeah. And what was nice is that sometimes I would do something that I wouldn't have done, but because I was with them, I ended up tagging along, and it was ended up being a novel experience and ended up being really fun. And them on the other hand, it's like I got to expose them to a bunch of like interesting food that maybe they liked, maybe they didn't like, but for the most part it seems like they enjoyed everything we ate. But
Yeah, no,
I had a buff that you didn't have when
Mm.
you went to
Oh
Japan,
yeah, yeah.
which
Of
is that
course.
I have like prior connections to Japan, even though I had never been, because
Yeah, your career that you've been working in.
because I work in a Japanese restaurant. I have contact with a lot of Japanese people, and these people, they were looking forward for me to go to Japan. So they basically set me up with their friends in Japan. They're like, oh, if you go to Kyoto, I'll hook you up with my guy, and then my guy is gonna like bring you to nice places. Like he's not a tour guide, but he could be like a tour guide. And I'm like, I don't know if I want a tour guide. I just want him to show me like things that he likes. I don't want him to be like, well, this is the tourist spot number 6. This is tourist spot number 5. Um,
Yeah, it's like City 17.
yeah, exactly. This is, and
Oh, you're cutting out so bad on my end.
I'm cutting out bad on your end. Well, it's good because on
Yeah,
on
it's
my
like
end,
one.
like I can see that every time I speak, it seems fine, and you're not cutting out at
It's
all on
like
my end.
yeah, yeah. It's like 1/3 of your words are getting chopped.
Oh man. Well,
So I could
I
like
guess
I could piece together what you're saying.
we'll
So
use
yeah.
my recording in that case. And yeah, so when I went to Japan, I guess the other buff I had was that I knew like a little bit of Japanese. Like people around me like to exaggerate my competency level in Japanese, especially at that time. I'd say I was well above
It's
the
awesome.
I was well above the average tourist, I would say. Like I could
Yeah,
actually
that's
form complete sentences and have like very basic conversations with people, and I could read like menus and things like that. Um, but it wasn't like the degree that I am now, which is crazy because that was like basically like a year ago, and now I'm like way better.
I didn't hear any. Well, I heard what you're saying. I didn't hear that last sentence you just said.
I said that I'm even though it was just a year ago, like my level has increased like by a crazy amount.
Like I still can't.
You still
Like,
can't. Oh,
I
that's
heard.
crazy. Hold
Yeah,
on.
yeah. So you said like you said even though it's only been a year, my level has gone dot dot dot.
My level has gotten much better. Oh my god. Yo, Discord is terrible.
Dude,
What
we have
the-
to keep this in. This is like
We have to keep
episode
this in. We
one.
have to keep this in. This is
Yeah.
the growing pains of being podcast
People
bros
like
or
this.
whatever.
People like this stuff. At least I do. I like listening to this stuff.
You like listening to like the not
Yeah,
well
absolute
done like
trainer, yeah. Like just not knowing, the balance of everything.
voice isolation. Just your beautiful voice. Let Discord cut through the noise. Let's try that.
Yes, and I'll be able to hear your cats too, which will be,
Is that how it works?
That's how your YouTube videos are. That's like an added bonus. So.
Voice isolation. So I think I changed my voice settings. Do I cut off more?
It sounds better so far, but I'm not.
We'll
can't tell
see.
you for
We'll
sure.
see.
Yeah. That seems better.
So you went to Japan. You had no connections there, and you didn't know like any Japanese basically.
No, I knew. I had some tourist phrases down, and just words I've picked up over the years. But you need context to use certain things. Like, so I just knew basically just the basics. And yeah, I was like, there were a couple moments that was put to the test, right? Where I was in Shinagawa at like 1 a.m. and used my limited Japanese to get a cab and navigate back to the Airbnb. So that was fun.
Yeah, I don't know how much like Japanese like travel content you watch, but
I didn't watch much before.
something that I think is actually misleading is a lot of people who go to Japan and they're like influencers or whatever word you want to use. They always go like, oh, you shouldn't worry too much about going to Japan if you can't speak Japanese, because there's so many people in Japan who can speak English and they'll be more than happy to help you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, man.
Not the case.
I don't know, man. Like,
I mean, you would expect that in Tokyo. If you were going to expect that anywhere, I think you would expect it in Tokyo, and that was not the case, dude.
Yeah, like I didn't know, right? Like the people I knew from Japan, they can speak a little bit of English, and the people that I work with can speak English because they kind of have to. But then like I didn't ask them like, hey, are there a lot of people who speak English in Japan? Because they don't really know, right? Like they haven't been to Japan like in like years. They only go to visit their family every once in a while, and like they speak in Japanese with people, so they don't need to interact with like English while they're there. And I was like, I guess I'll take the benefit of the doubt and be like, yeah, maybe there's more English than there was because of like globalization and like the the internet and things like that.
Yeah.
So when I got to Japan, and apart from like the airport and like some major like metro stations, train stations, there's basically like there's signs in English, but like when people speak, it's like very basic sentences in English, and most of the time they don't even know how to speak English. I was like, oh man, good thing I know how to speak Japanese, because it was.
I used a couple like English loan words, like I mean, this is just like your classic like gaijin story, where you pick up on like loan words that they use in like anime and stuff. So I used like switch on a couple times, like switch on.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Stuff like
there's a lot of katakana English as they call it, where there's a lot of loan words, so you should be okay. And a lot of times you can actually sort of get your message across by using hand gestures and onomatopoeias and like sound effects and stuff.
Chaji cable when my phone was dead. It worked like a charm.
Oh, well, that worked. Yeah, Chaji cable. That would work. That would work. Yeah, Chaji is like pretty common.
You gotta be, maybe a little creative, because the English is, it's not there. I don't know what those influencers are.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know where they're living, but it's not there.
Well, so. they're clearly like Tokyo, so already I guess there's a little bit more English.
Oh yeah, did I tell you about like when we found Little England in whatever area of Tokyo the Tokyo Tower's at. There's a there's like a British colony there.
Like
So maybe the streamer bros are living there.
are there like British, like a lot of stuff in English over there? Like people speak English, or it's like
Yeah, no, there's just like British families like walking up and down the streets like just talking in a British accent in English.
whoa.
I'm sure they know some Japanese, right? They live there.
Yeah.
It was crazy to see. Didn't expect that.
No, I actually didn't know about that. I mean, I don't know much about Tokyo actually. Um, I didn't spend that much time in Tokyo when I was in Japan. For reference, I'd say I spent 4 months in Japan so far, with a lot more to come. I've spent 3 months alone just in Kyoto, and I spent but that was not like tourist stuff. That was like I lived in Kyoto
Yeah, you were actually living
for 3 months, and on my first trip with my friends, it was like a week in Kyoto, a week in Tokyo, and then a week in like traveling between random cities. And I'm really glad I did that, because I started all the way in Fukuoka, and then I went all the way up to Tokyo, so I got to experience like the whole width of Japan, let's say.
Yes.
It was something that my Japanese friends recommended to me. They're like, you should try to see a little bit of everywhere. That way you get to see like the actual diversity of like Japanese culture.
Climate, yeah.
And the climate too. Oh my god. I went in fall, so I was expecting that it would be a little bit chill, but I think when I was in Fukuoka, which is like in the south, it was like 30 something degrees, and I was like dying with like my fall clothes.
Yeah.
And it's super humid over there. Well, just in Japan in general, it's really humid, but in Fukuoka it was like
it starts becoming more like the rest of Southeast Asia, right?
yeah, a little bit. Especially, I'm sure if you go even lower to like Kumamoto or something. And then I went to Hiroshima, and that's like near the water, so it's a bit cooler. And then Okayama was pretty warm. Kyoto was warm, but it was starting to like cool down. Like I guess I got deep enough into like fall that it started to cool down a little bit. And then once I got to like Tokyo, it was like normal like fall weather, I would say.
Yeah, a little chilly. Is that the farthest north you went was Tokyo?
Yeah. I want to go even more north later. Like I want to go to like Aomori and like Hokkaido.
Yeah, I keep thinking about Aomori, dude.
Sendai and things like that. I want to go over there, but
Aomori in the winter, dude.
Yeah, especially if
so nice.
You go to like that what's considered like one of the prettiest cities in the world, that has like those really wide triangular roofs in Aomori. There's like a small town. I think it's like Shirakawa-go or something. It's like a small I might be completely off. And people were like, you think you know Japan, but you're like a poser. I should never listen to you. But yeah, it's like there's this beautiful roofs. And it's considered like a really beautiful town, and in winter it's even more beautiful.
Yeah.
I
know there's a lot of hiking and things I'd like to do up there.
Yeah, me too. I mean, hiking is super popular.
Yeah. There's a spot where like an old sergeant and his division like got buried by snow. They have like a monument to him, Sergeant Goto. So that like piqued my interest. I was like looking around the landscape. Like you can go to a memorial site for an old army guy.
Yeah, there's a lot of like on trail like hiking trails, there's a lot of like little memorials, either for people who like died, or like, oh, this trail was like made popular because of this guy, or oh, we would like to thank Reverend whatever his name is for popularizing hiking in Japan. It's like I think it's like a British, he's like some British reverend who came to Japan, and like he brought the love of hiking to Japan, and now it's like because of him, like people in Japan love hiking.
He like brought people out of the town. It's like, let me show you this. This is awesome.
And
you guys know you have this back here?
Yo, you check this out, man. This forest is awesome.
Yeah. Oh man.
And there's also like haiku stones on certain trails, which I really like. Where like I guess like wandering haiku poet artists like would like, oh, this poet like walked this trail, so we're gonna put like some of his haikus around the trail.
Oh, okay. So they're not the poets themselves, aren't carving them in.
No. Though that would be really cool, like guerrilla haiku writing, like just in the forest. Yeah, take that. I'm gonna make the world even more beautiful by like sneaking in haikus everywhere.
Yeah.
I want to walk the Nakasendo, which is the trail that connects Tokyo to Kyoto, the Edo from Edo to Kyoto.
How long would that take?
It's pretty long. It's pretty long. Like you're meant to like stop and stop and like rest at like inns and hotels and stuff.
Yeah.
Like what the nobles, because the noble back then, the nobles had to always like they couldn't stay in their domicile for too long. So basically like every few months I think they had to move from Kyoto to Edo and then back from Edo to Kyoto and back and forth, so that trail existed for that. And I assume for like samurai as well.
They've got inns just along the hiking trail.
Yeah. Basically, like almost
That's
every,
so good.
almost
That's
every,
like Cyrodiil.
like almost every town across the Nakasendo that isn't like like an important like prefectural capital or something like that. They're just in towns. Like they're like towns that have like an inn, and that inn was like the economical center of the town.
That's so awesome.
And you have like these little industries that like popped out. So you know, like lots of restaurants for people to eat.
Yep.
So, like, you know, you and your samurai buds, you stay at that inn and then you go eat like the local specialty. So they were like the original tourist towns, you know.
Yeah.
That's why I want to walk that trail.
So
I want to feel history, because a lot of those towns haven't changed very much. I think there's even like a not a law, but there's like a sort of like incentive to keep those towns like as like true
like
to how they were in the
not,
past as possible.
Yeah, not necessarily like growing or anything, but just like keep the tradition alive, essentially.
Yeah. I want to for hiking. I think that's like for me that's like the ultimate goal, is to walk the Nakasendo.
When we were talking a little bit.
Hmm?
Oh, sorry. What?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, we were talking a little bit about, you know, kind of how it is in America, where like super rural areas are disappearing. Is that happening at all?
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
We've been talking about that in Japan, how it's happening out, you know, in way out there, but like for things like hiking and things, I don't know. Are there those little towns, are they being super affected?
A little bit. Those towns are, because like in Japan, from when you like watch the news or you hear about the declining population and stuff like that, they often talk about how so many people are moving to the big cities that, you know, small towns are dying, which is true. So there's a lot of incentives and like government programs to send people to live in those towns to like kind of boost the economy of the small towns and keep them alive.
No.
And like the hiking towns, like the Nakasendo towns and like all those little like, you know, like in towns, I don't know, I think probably if it wasn't for the sort of like touristy incentive of like walking the Nakasendo, which is popular both like by Japanese people and tourists, I think those towns are you know, they're not doing so hot for sure. I think most of like rural Japan is not doing so hot, including the, you know, those towns, but maybe those ones are doing a little bit better because at least they have like an industry to focus on rather than just being
extra cash flow.
Yeah, just a little bit of extra cash flow. But I don't know. I don't know how you save rural Japan. You know, there's a lot of, once again, you know, I don't know how much Japanese media you like a Japanese, you know, travel media you consume, but there's a lot of like incentives for people to not incentives, but there's a lot of like influencers who are like, oh, you should visit this town that's like 3 hours away from Tokyo because it's like this super small town that has like this awesome thing, and you know, if you want to experience real Japanese culture, you should go there. And like I'm glad that there's, you know, that push for like people to go to smaller towns instead of just going to like Osaka, Kyoto, and Tokyo. But the problem that I have is that I feel like maybe I'm very cynical about it, but it's the way I see it is that these influencers are basically just trying to like monetize slash sensationalize like novelty, where it's like, oh, everybody, because of the internet, everybody knows everything there is to know about Kyoto, Tokyo, and Osaka. Like I can't say anything that's like new. because
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
just
yeah.
like it's already been
The
like
content machine is hungry.
yeah, so it's
They're
like the
trying
content
to, yeah,
machine
yeah.
the content machine is hungry, so now I have to find like a new novel thing to advertise or like to
Mm.
talk about to make myself seem like I found this secret hidden gem. That way people are interested in what I have to say because I'm not talking about Kyoto or like Tokyo or Osaka for the 10 millionth time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like instead of being like a genuine, maybe once again, maybe I'm just too cynical, but like I feel like instead of being a genuine desire to be like you should go to these small towns because they have really nice people and you know these local industries are really cool. Like you know, oh this town is really good at like making denim, you know, and they've been making denim the
Mm.
same way for years. Or this place is known for its like chestnuts, so you should go eat chestnuts there because like the best chestnuts in the world are produced there. Instead, they're like they say that, but it's more so like I'm just saying this so that you go there and think that I'm cool because I found this hidden
Yeah,
gem.
yeah. And send me a super chat or a subscription or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, like
Yeah.
oh, you know, I'm so glad that you recommended this place to me. Here, have you know, $5 or something.
Hmm.
Or oh, this
Yeah.
person recommended this hidden gem, so I'm gonna follow them on YouTube and on Instagram. That way, you know, if they ever have other places to recommend, you know, I'll be the first to know. It's like basically
Mm.
it's the rush. It's like the rush to find the next trendy place.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, that way you feel like you're like you're creating the trend. It's like I don't know. It's like art. It sounds stupid, but it's like artificial. You know,
Yeah, it's not born of a love of the country. It's, you know, it's like the atmosphere around it, the cultural atmosphere around it, you know, that's surrounding it.
yeah. It's just that the because the
It's not
content machine
authentic.
wants more novel things. So
Yeah,
you
yeah. There's money here in making, you know, videos and talking about it, even if you're not interested in it.
yeah.
So,
The thing is, I guess at least it like helps maybe boost the tourism towards those towns a little bit. But I guess it's even. Is it okay if like you're doing it for cynical reasons, but it ends up benefiting the town in like a non-cynical way? I don't know. It's
I
like
guess you'd have to ask people that live there, like, yeah, I love that streamer guy.
yeah, maybe they're like, yo, man, like ever
Yeah.
since that one guy made a
Uh,
video, ever since I don't know, like this one YouTuber that has like 6 million subscribers, talked about my like my chestnut mochi like shop. You know, I've been
yeah.
like seeing many tourists, whereas before like
Yeah.
it'd be crazy if I saw like 3 people in 1 week.
Yeah, he didn't even talk to me, and he only spent 10 minutes here. But I really appreciate that guy.
Yeah, maybe I'm just too cynical.
Oh, that's the that like that kind of ties into like how I felt coming into Japan because it's like I have this intense like I don't know reverence or whatever you want to say, you know, walking around, and then it was intensified by the fact like you're saying, there's just a ton of uh I don't want to say bad actor, that might be too harsh, but just people that, you know, are just there to be there instead of like having a I don't know, an appreciative mindset, right?
You mean like more so you go to Japan and you experience it almost like a theme park rather than experiencing it
Yeah, it's
as a real place.
exactly. Yeah, it's a theme park. You know, it's hot. You've seen you've seen a ton of Instagram reels on it or whatever. Yeah, TikTok reels,
YouTube
and you
shorts.
know, everyone. It's like a gravity well. It just sucks everyone in for some reason. They're like, oh, let's go to Japan, guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, like having fears of being perceived that way, right? Where it's just like,
Yeah, you're just like hopping
yeah,
on the Japan trend.
yeah, yeah. No, I actually am really excited to come here and yeah,
I'm the
try to
good
be
foreigner. I'm
respectful.
the good foreigner, I
You
swear.
say yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, Japanese policeman pull me over, like step aside, sir.
Step aside. Let me ask you 20 questions about Japanese
Oh,
culture to make sure you're you're
that's
not a
why
bad actor.
my neck was sore from my gaijin like head bowing.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
I'm glad you bowed because I think a lot of people
yeah,
wouldn't bow. They might be like, I feel like people would be like, you know, I'm a foreigner, so I'm not expected to bow.
yeah.
Or maybe
Eh.
people bow more because they wanna
Yep.
feel like they, you know, they're. I can't speak Japanese, so I may as well bow at least to show that I care.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Now you know.
I
Sorry, what?
remembering what you said about like you being there and like being nervous because you don't want to feel like you're you know you're jumping on the Japan trend. Like
Mm.
when you were in Japan, did you sometimes like roll your eyes at yourself because you felt like even though maybe you didn't want to, you were kind of you're kind of like giving in to the kind of like because it's like, oh, I'm there for good reasons, and then you're like,
Yeah,
oh, but
yeah.
I'm gonna go to Akihabara and like
Well, so the thing about Akihabara is it's like that is the intended location for that to go down, right? So I didn't feel that bad about doing things like that. I definitely didn't want to spend my whole time there,
yeah.
but I definitely I really enjoyed and treasured the time I did have there. I mean, it's like Japan has its own like native otaku, just like there's a ton
Yeah,
of
yeah,
otaku
absolutely.
foreigners coming in. So it's not a thing that exists because of foreigners. I mean, it largely is like supported by foreigners now, but
Yeah, that's what I was
they've
gonna
always
say.
like they've always had it. I mean, otaku is Japanese, right? So that is a
Yeah, the word
Japanese
otaku is a
thing.
Japanese word,
Yeah,
and like you said, it was created by the Japanese native otaku, the homegrown, local, organic, grass-fed
yeah,
otaku.
yeah. Yes, exactly. No, I felt much like I was just participating, like being able to participate. It was a very nice, welcoming thing. So I didn't feel that bad there.
But
It's,
would you say, because I had a completely different experience in Akihabara, but I want to know what you think first. But like, would you say that like even though it was created, organically by the Japanese otaku, that now it more so caters to foreigners and caters to like people who go there for the novelty of it because it's like, oh,
uh,
it's the anime lovers mecca, it's the video game lovers mecca. But like, the otakus, the thing about otaku, and I'm sure you agree to some degree, is that, well, yes, it's about that passion for the pop culture, let's say,
mm,
the nerd stuff.
yeah,
There's also a certain element of like being ahead of the curve.
yeah,
Like you kind of like you figure out what's interesting and popular before it becomes interesting and popular because you're just consuming so much like video
yeah, yeah.
games and whatever. So would you say that like now the native otakus are like moved on to greener pastures, and Akihabara is
Mm,
just like more so
yeah,
like
yeah.
a not
It's being
like a
propped up
hollow husk
more.
of what it used to be, but it's more so like being kept afloat by foreigners rather than being kept afloat by like the original guys.
Yeah, yeah. No, I can definitely see that. Maybe it was just because of the places we went in Akihabara. I mean, I spent most of my time in like this book tower where you couldn't read a single like there was there was nothing in English, and I was surrounded by a bunch of old Japanese men all day, just looking through books. I don't know. I didn't get to explore Akihabara maybe as much as I wanted to because I got enraptured in like one of these malls. I can't remember the name of the mall, and then the bookstore. Um, but I didn't get that feeling honestly when I was there. Like I said, I didn't explore as much as I should have. But it was just a bunch of old Japanese guys the day I was there, like looking through magazines and books and things.
Maybe we're just drawn to different things, but like when I was in Akihabara, I went to a similar thing where like I went to like a big bookstore and everything was in Japanese. But instead of having like a bunch of old guys, for me it was just like a bunch of like Japanese girls like with like 7 trillion stickers and pins on
Yeah.
their stuff, and like they were like looking for like stickers and trading cards of like the characters they liked and things like that.
Hmm.
I guess that's
There
what I
were. I had that experience in Shibuya when I went. I definitely like that. That's a good tie into what like what you're saying because I did feel that way. Like you're kind of the old otaku have moved on. I definitely got that kind of feeling in Shibuya. Like there were tourists everywhere. Um, and it did seem like it was more of a touristy thing. Maybe I had like an abnormal day in Akihabara where
maybe I don't know.
it was just like a bunch of just like because I was like in the World War II section, so maybe that was like
Ah, maybe that's why.
yeah, that might have been why. But there was just like a bunch of just old Japanese guys like looking through model kits and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, this is it. These guys are probably like side eyeing me, like get out of here. But I'm just like, this is the ultimate.
Yeah,
I
yeah. I mean,
love this.
you
Yeah.
like World War I and World War II like related stuff. So
Yep.
there's a lot of value to be had in Japanese view on those things for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you
So I might have been in like a more niche spot, and that kind of colored my view a little bit.
yeah, did you feel weird being an American in Japan?
Uh,
Because I feel like
I had nothing tied to my like American identity that made me feel weird. I just felt weird as a foreigner in general. I'd say.
not being American. Because like maybe it's like Canadian propaganda, you know, but but oftentimes, you know, us Canadians, we're always told like, oh yeah, when you go to other countries, like, you know, people like you because you're not American. And like I remember for a while,
I didn't feel that way at all.
For a while, I kept hearing about like, oh, a lot of Americans when they go to foreign countries, they put like a Canadian like a pin on their bag. That way, people think they're Canadian, so they don't treat them badly. And I'm like, I don't know if that's like, do people hate Americans that much? Like, I don't know.
No, I didn't feel
so
that way
I was wondering
at all.
if like, I'm wondering if you had like that internalized kind of that internalized like anti-American sentiment.
No, I definitely didn't have that. I had the opposite experience actually. I'm not like some patriot or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I saw so many. I don't know. A lot of my experience in Japan just comes back to old men, I guess, because there were like a lot of old Japanese guys with like MAGA hats walking around. I was like, what is happening? Yeah, yes, dude. Yeah, I haven't told you this.
No, I didn't know about this.
No, but no, I saw like 3 or 4 like in my during the duration of my stay. Like there were old guys with MAGA hats, walking around, and I was like, wow. It's like, watashi wa Amerikai to.
I saw like zero. I saw zero like MAGA hats when I was in Japan, but it's not like I was looking for them either. Like I would never expect to find some there.
I wasn't either, but these guys were just going about their business. I guess it was interesting. I didn't go up to them and talk to them about it. I was just like, a bit strange. I kind of went at like a, I don't want to say turbulent time, but a time of like change, right? Like the new PM was just getting elected, and
like as soon as I came back from Japan, like the old PM was kind of like stepped down, and they did the elections for the, to figure out like who was gonna replace them. So I saw that change happen like in real time. Like when I was in Japan, dude, I went at like the most annoying time because I went during politics season. So you're walking around and there's like cars and like trucks where people just like advertise themselves and like say the name of like the political party and the person that they want you to vote for, and then they just annoy everybody. And like
I saw it was pretty good for me. Most of what I saw was on the news, but walking around in Tokyo, I did see like posters and things for elected officials, I think, of the city.
Yeah, probably like mayoral stuff, like for the districts. When I was in Akihabara, I had like not existential crisis, but I had like what the hell am I doing here moment. Because I'm walking around with my friends, and like we go to like the bookstores, we go to the game stores, we go to like the arcades, and I'm like, yeah, this is cool. And then we've been there for like a few hours, and I'm just like, what am I doing here? Like, why is everything about like consuming?
Yeah.
Like, why is everything about like buying stuff? Like, this is just like, it's just like merchandise, There's no like. And I was wondering if there were like, maybe I just couldn't find them. But it's like, are there any places where you can just kind of like somehow show your appreciation for these kinds of like nerdy things without like paying money for it, like buying merchandise? Because I understand that like you buy merchandise to like support the artists who worked on those things, but at the same time I'm like, just because I don't own 78 plushies of like my waifu, it doesn't mean that I don't like whatever anime she's from or like whatever manga she's from. So I was almost like I was going through like a weird thing of like, and this I want to talk about in a later episode when we do the nerd oppression syndrome.
Yeah.
But like, I am very confident in my belief that like I appreciate what I like for my own reasons, and that like I guess like I have that like main character syndrome of like, what when I like something, I like it for legitimate reasons, but when somebody else likes something, they're just being like posers. And
yeah. They just want to buy, you know, they see the merch, they got.
yeah, it's like they buy all the merch, but like I'm secure in my appreciation of this piece of art, so I don't need to buy anything, because I know that like it's not about how much you buy, it's about how much you appreciate it deep down and within your heart. So when I was in like Akihabara, I was having that where it's like, man, this is all just about like consumption. This is just all like buying stuff. This is just all like very surface level like capitalistic consumerism. And it's like, I don't know, man. Like, and then I was going down like an evil spiral of like, I need to get out of here.
I remember you telling me about that when you were there.
Yeah,
you were in this mall with your friends, and every floor was like a new like pop culture, like you know, and it was hooked into a service, right? It would be like a cafe or a restaurant or something, and it would be the Monster Hunter Cafe,
yes,
or the blah 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 cafe. You know, so it's just like I can't consume all of this stuff. You know.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
Because we went to Akihabara 2 times. We went once to like go to the shops and everything, and then on a different day we went to the Granblue Fantasy cafe, because my friend is a big fan of Granblue Fantasy, and my other friend plays Granblue Fantasy, but I don't know if he's like a big fan of it. And I know nothing about Granblue Fantasy. The only thing I know is that the main artist, or one of the main artists for it, you know, he worked on Final Fantasy Tactics with my guy, hold up, I have his name written right here. My guy Koda Kazuma, who worked on Nier art and like other Square Enix stuff. So like
character designer.
Yeah, the character designer for like the new Nier games, and he worked with the Granblue guy on Final Fantasy Tactics. That's how they met each other. Maybe even before that, which is why their art is very similar. You know, you can see similarities. Like sometimes when I would see Granblue art, I was like, man, this looks like Nier art, or like this looks like, you know, art from this guy. And so I had the only thing I knew about Granblue Fantasy was that. So for me, it was like a completely alien experience. But for my friends, you know, they seemed to know what was going on. And my friend did like a reservation before we even went to Japan, if I remember correctly, to go to that cafe. And I was like, this is gonna be a novel experience, so I'm all for it. But also I know nothing about this, and I'm very cynical about these kinds of places.
Yeah, you feel I don't belong here, right?
Well, one is like I don't belong here, and so I don't want to be like a poser, you know.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like, you know, I'm very particular about food, and I'm like, I know the food's gonna be like slop, you know, like.
You don't want your Granblue burger, dude?
like yeah, that's the problem that I had, is like it's a bunch of like regular normal foods that are like maybe executed at like a kind of like pretty average level, but they have like little bells and whistles to make it feel like Granblue food. And sometimes the thing is they don't even like, and I say this like I kind of feel bad saying this, but sometimes like the food is just regular food, but it's like, but it's this character's favorite meal, so it's like, oh, it's like,
oh man. Yeah,
it's like, do you want the red smoothie that like is this character's favorite smoothie and this character has red hair, or do you want the blue smoothie that is this character's favorite food and she has blue hair? And it's like, I don't even feel like I'm eating fantastical food, you know, I'm just drinking a smoothie that's the same color as the character's hair. And like
sorry, continue.
It makes me think of like, you know, maybe Americans can get like or like people who live in like North America would have a better no, okay, I'm not saying that American food is bad. What I mean is that I think a good parallel is like, you know, when you go to like Disneyland, or you go to like Universal Studios or something, and you go to like those restaurants, like all the restaurants are like gimmick restaurants, right? You can't just be like you can't just go to like a steakhouse or something. You can't just go to like an Italian restaurant, you know. It's like Mario and Luigi's Italian extravaganza, and it's like all like Mushroom Kingdom themed food, or like, and it like, you know what you're getting into, right? You know the food's gonna be like okay, and it's gonna be like either like the food's like not so good, but it's like very visually interesting because it's like thematic, or it's like a regular food that isn't like really thematically dressed up, but they they try to kind of connect it to like to the theme somehow. So it's like
the thinnest like connection possible.
yeah. Like just a slice of like a slice of white cake, and it's like it's Princess Peach's cake that she bakes for Mario at the end of Mario 64.
The slushy or whatever you order has like the layers of color are layered in a way it resembles like Mario's silhouette. Or
yeah, exactly. But even that's kind of impressive, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that might be good. That's a step above and beyond.
So when I went to the Granblue Cafe, I was like, man, like this food is all right, and it's like pretty expensive. And it's like thematic, and like they play like Granblue music, and you know the shop has like a few different sections, but I think the idea is that you're like in I don't know anything about Granblue, so I might sound like insane, but I think like your home base is like a boat. So I believe the way like the interior is designed is to make you think that you're like in the inn or like in the boat that like the game this is like hub is.
Yeah.
And what's cool is they give you like these cards that are like, I think it's like cards are like a QR code, and then you scan them and you can get like extra, you get like whatever characters in those cards. It's like gacha stuff, I don't know.
Yeah.
And like, we got a bunch of cards, and every time you ordered an item off the menu, you would get like a card. So the more food you eat, the more cards you get, but you also get like a baseline number of cards just from going there. And I remember like, I was like, I don't care about, like, I don't have a single game. I don't have a single game
fish out of water
on my phone.
Yeah.
Like my phone is purely for like doom scrolling on Instagram, for talking to my family, and for like phone calls, emails, things like that. It's all like business stuff and like Instagram doom scrolling, and so I don't have any games on my phone. So I was like, here, have my cards. And like, oh yeah, hell yeah, like I get more cards, and I was like, I'm glad they liked it. I'm glad they liked it, and I liked it as a outsider. Like I liked it from this is what a themed cafe is like.
Yes.
And also, we went, and I guess like Granblue Fantasy is not so popular anymore. And so when I went, like it was empty. There was like nobody. There was like just like one like old guy, and us.
He's a huge fan. Granblue's biggest fan over there. I was thinking it's like I like the ideas of these shops in theory, but the problem is it's like if you're a mega fan, like Granblue is your thing, that's amazing. You're like, oh yeah, let's go to the Granblue Cafe. But like it being a cafe in Akihabara or wherever it is, like it kind of implies that in order to stay afloat, people that like, because not everyone is going to be a super fan of Granblue. Like to stay afloat, it needs patronage from people who don't really care all that much. So that's kind of what bothers me about the idea of like a themed cafe like that.
Oh, and I should mention that the themed cafe that I went to, the Granblue themed cafe that I went to, was in a multi-story building that
a mall.
Basically every floor was a different themed cafe.
Yes, and I remember that. I remember you posting an image of like the map or whatever.
And they have like one floor is like the Capcom stuff. So there's like a Monster Hunter cafe, and there's like another Capcom franchise cafe. And then like when I went on the Granblue floor, there was Granblue, but there were also like Square Enix themed stuff. There's like the Final Fantasy 14 cafe. There was a Granblue cafe, and there was like another thing from Final Fantasy, from like a Square Enix property. And I'm pretty sure that every floor only has one kitchen. And the kitchen does the food for all of the theme cafes on that floor.
Oh,
so that made me even more cynical. It's like those ghost kitchens,
Share
it's like,
share a little bit about that. Like, how does that work? How would that work? I don't know anything about like kitchen.
Well, the way I would see it is that like in those kitchens you have the ingredients required to make a lot of the food, and then you have like the bells and whistles to make it look thematic. So I'm pretty sure that like all the cafes have similar menus where it's like you'll have like like you'll have like a burger, you'll have like cupcakes, you'll have like whatever foods.
Oh,
so like when you order like the Sephiroth burger, or you order like the I don't know like the cowgirl like Granblue cafe like
Lalafell burger.
Yeah, you order like the Lalafell burger from Final Fantasy 14. And then you order like the I don't know, like the Charlotte, whatever her name is, like the little tiny girl from Granblue Fantasy. She's like the small girl who's like she has a big sword and she's like I think she's like royalty or something. She's like in the fighting game. You order like that burger, you know, and it's like it's the same burger basically. It's just like maybe one of them has like an avocado in it and the other one has like an egg in it. And then you use like those irons that you can like use to mark the bread. And then like on the Lalafell burger, you're gonna mark like some sort of symbol from like Final Fantasy 14. But then on the Granblue burger, you're gonna mark like a crown or something because that girl has like a crown. So it's like the menu is really similar. So you can, it's like modular because that's how you work in kitchens, right? Is that most of your prep is already done, and then during service time, you just have to assemble the food. So you know, if the menus are very similar on all those cafes, then you know you can prepare very similar foods with like a few differences, and then you kind of pimp them out to look like it's thematic to that one restaurant.
No.
And that's how they stay. That's how they stay afloat. Because let's say the Granblue Cafe closes down because nobody plays Granblue and nobody goes to the cafe. That same the people hired in the kitchen are still going to cook the food from the Final Fantasy 14 cafe and the other cafes on that floor. And then eventually the Granblue Cafe is going to be replaced by something else. And then the people in that kitchen are going to start doing food for that cafe. So at least it means that like
makes more sense that way.
At least it means that like if something doesn't become popular anymore, something isn't popular anymore, at least the kitchen can still run because it like operates for multiple cafes. It's like ghost kitchens on Uber Eats or on like, you know, DoorDash or whatever.
Man, I am a little more cynical now.
No. I only want to promote. I'm here to promote people to appreciate
cooks,
Japan.
They get to keep their jobs even if the restaurant.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, because for me it was very like
the
consumerist.
same burger, just like branded differently.
Yeah, it's branded differently. Maybe there's like 1 or 2 ingredients difference. Or like it's the same smoothie, but one of them has like red food coloring in it, and the other one's blue food coloring in it. So it's like you get the like the Kupo smoothie, and it's like red like the nose of the whatever their name is. I always forget. Muggles. It's red like a Muggle nose or something, and then
maybe like good on us, I guess. We had the opportunity to go into cafes like that, but we didn't. We went into another cafe. It wasn't particularly like wasn't themed like pop culture or otaku or whatever. It was just like the generic cafe. It was like right next to the Evangelion cafe. We said, oh, nope, we're not going to.
You don't want to eat. You don't want to eat the Asuka. You want to eat the Asuka like schnitzel because she's like partially German, so you get to eat like a schnitzel.
That would have been cool.
That has like a red sauce because their suit's red.
What me and my friend were looking for in Akihabara after we had spent time in the library or the bookstore was just a place like we were looking for a place like a library where we could just kind of enjoy our findings, you know, the things we picked up. And so yeah, we just found a kind of a regular cafe, and that worked pretty well for that. So I don't know. That might be why we had a better time, and or at least I did. Like I didn't feel too bad. In that area, I think Shibuya was probably more intense with like the cynicism.
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it.
I had another moment of like cynicism when I was in Shibuya, where, you know, like the Shibuya crossing, right? Like the most busy crossing in the world.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
And it's like trendy for like influencers to like film themselves doing like silly stuff at the crossing. But like I was losing my mind because I'm just like trying to cross the street, you know. I'm just trying to cross the street, and then there's like these people who like stop in the middle of the crossing to do like a fucking backflip while their friend is like filming them with like a $7 million camera. And I'm like, you guys are like blocking just by being there in the middle of the street while everybody's crossing, and it's like the busiest crossing in the world, right? I'm just gonna say fake numbers because I don't even know like the metrics. Like just by being there for like 5 seconds and like doing your little like backflip or whatever, you are
floats your jump.
you are like blocking people from. You're blocking at least like 2,000 people from blocking the street, from like crossing the street properly.
Oh man.
And
Yeah.
I saw it over and over and over again. Like every time I was there, like I would see like a bunch of people who would like cross half the street, stop in the middle of the crossing, do like some stupid thing for the camera, and then block a bunch of people, and then you know, like they fucking bring their tripod, you know, and then they put the tripod down and they do like a little thing, and then I was like, man, come on, man. And I know like my friends didn't get too mad at like tourists doing like dumb things, but I remember like my other friend was like, he was fuming at like the Shibuya crossing thing.
Yeah.
And then the other part that I really hate is like the go-karts, but I think they're like cracking down on that.
I mean, you're making me feel so thankful and like grateful for my trip, because
Yeah,
I didn't see any of that.
I'm glad.
I guess I was really lucky.
I'm glad that you didn't get the. I feel like, for me, all my cynicism of my Japan trip was when I was in Tokyo. And I think maybe it's because Tokyo is like the most densely packed in terms of tourists and like influencers and stuff like that. So I saw like a lot of it, because like when I was in Fukuoka, like I didn't see a single person with their camera out. And when I was in Hiroshima, I saw a few people who were filming stuff on Miyajima, but Miyajima is a beautiful place, so I don't blame them. And it's a bit more out of the way as well. And in Okayama, I didn't see like anything that would make me like feel bad. And then in Tokyo, when I was in Tokyo, I just saw like a bunch of like stuff that would like kind of bother me. And I wonder if it's also because I was at the end of my trip, so I was feeling a little bit more like tired and low energy, so like the dopamine was kind of going lower, so I was
just more fatigue.
Yeah, it was like I was more easily annoyed maybe. But like even in Kyoto,
I feel like if I saw someone doing a backflip in a crosswalk, that'd make me pretty like not upset, but I'd just be like, oh really? Come on.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
And even in Kyoto, when it's people say like, oh dude, don't go to Kyoto, there's like too many tourists, like it's horrible, you can't walk around and stuff like that. Even in Kyoto, like I thought it was fine. It was really in Tokyo that like all the tourist stuff really bothered me.
Yeah.
And even then, like I say bothered me, but like I maybe I'm the jerk here. Like maybe I'm the one who's like I'm overreacting to things that aren't like such a big deal. But for me, like seeing people go around in go-karts and being like super annoying and loud in the streets of Tokyo, or like seeing people block the most busy crossing in the world for like Instagram, I was like, I don't know, man.
Oh, you mentioning go-karts, I was like racking my brain trying to think if
have you seen those
like that. At one point we were near the Tokyo Tower and we did see something akin to that, but it looked like it was a tourist service, like they were putting tourists in these carts and like leading them along.
Yes.
It didn't bother me.
That's correct. What's annoying about it is that like they go around the streets and they're like dressed up as like Mario Kart characters or something, and they make a lot of noise and they look really silly, and then you're like, the people, like Japan is not a theme park, but these people seem to be acting like it is.
Yeah, that I did see that once. I think I know what you're talking about. But we were so tired. We'd been walking around for like 6 hours at that point. By the time we saw that I wasn't paying too close attention. I just kept walking.
I don't want to continue too much of this cynicism thing, because I like to think that it's not that many people. It's just that like the few people you see doing it are kind of like it just kind of like you remember that, but you don't remember all the nice things, because the nice tourists are just like they're like invisible. You don't notice them.
Yep. Yeah, no. I had nothing but like good things to say about. I don't want to, in like the Akihabara, like the. What was it? The Mandrake stores. Like, I had nothing but positive interactions with the foreigners and that. They were just quiet. They were just looking for their favorite things.
Yeah. So I had a lot of that too. Being at Nakano Broadway and like going to all the Mandarake stores, or like in Akihabara, going to stores that had a bit more like foreigners. Even like when I was in Shibuya, going to the Tower Records store in Shibuya, like there's all that all the like music albums and like vinyls and
Yes.
things like that, and people are like, super nice, and they're just like browsing, and like absolutely no problem there. It's more so the people who kind of like are a nuisance to
Yeah, they stick out.
the generally like just going about your life.
Mm-hmm.
So both of us are North American. We live in a car centric world.
Oh.
How did it
more than
feel
you.
to you more than me for sure. I live in
Yeah,
like probably
I've
the
got,
best. I live in probably the best.
200,000 miles on my belt right here.
I live probably in the best city in North America in terms of public transit, so I'm very blessed.
Yeah.
But Japan is just a different game, especially Tokyo.
Mm.
So how did it feel for you to experience that kind of freedom, I guess?
It was great. You know, with my city where I live, it's kind of scary. And honestly, I'm sure you're used to it, so I'm sure it's fine for you. But like when you're like walking home or riding the bus or whatever, like it sounds scary. You're like, oh, there's a guy over here. I'm not sure what he's doing. He's making weird noises.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
public
I've
transit where I live is like really, you know, it's not something I would want to do, and it's not something that's like focused on. We've talked about this where it's like it's not a huge focus with the local government
yeah, they don't put a lot of money
to
into
make
it.
it really nice. Whereas in Tokyo, it's like that's how people get around, right? So it was wonderful. There were some times where it was like we accidentally got on the wrong train and we start going the opposite direction, and I was just like, guys, can we keep doing this? This is fun. I just wanna look at, you know, just look out the window and see things. The biggest problem for me was just like trying not to be in people's way, because you don't know, if you're a foreigner, you don't know which stops are the big stops, you know, like Shimabashi or Shinagawa, like all those stops, they are, you know, there's hundreds of people getting off and getting on at the same time, and so you need to make sure that you're like getting out of the way. But other than that, like I really enjoyed it. There like rush hour was a problem, especially, you know, if you're American sized, you're gonna get crushed.
Yeah, I'm very
Uh,
lucky. I'm super tiny, so in Japan, like I can fit in the crowds like the best of them.
Yep. Yeah, like my spine was like I had like chiropractor done on my spine on one like rush hour train. So I had to like bend while still holding on. So, you know, but you kind of expect that to happen at least a little bit. So it was fine. Um, I have a lot of great photos, a lot of great memories, just riding the public transit.
Would you say that it's would you say it's a confusing system?
Oh yeah, I didn't even mention that. You know, we've talked about this where it's like, good luck reading that map, right? I don't know. Maybe in like post I can throw up a map of the Tokyo tram system. But yeah, no, there's. I mentioned getting lost. It's like you've got how many different lines would you say you've got going
Oh, dude,
in
there's so
Tokyo?
many. There's so many. Like there's
Yeah.
the Tozai line and the maybe I'm just talking about the Kyoto lines right now. I wrote
Yeah.
the Kyoto stuff so often that like I just remember all the Kyoto things, but like
There's like three big JR lines. I know
yeah,
that.
and there's the one that goes in a circle around Tokyo and connects to all the other lines. So that one's like the if you want to get around really quickly to go to like a different place or to all the main places, there's one that goes around in a circle. And then there's all like the side lines, and then there's like the major lines that are like the JR ones that go to other cities or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot of interlocking lines, lots of like overlap between the different stations and what they go to, and then there's like, okay, so all the stations for this one are like light green, and then all the stations for this one are dark green, and in the heat of the moment you're like, oh, I have to go to like, I think I'm supposed to stop at like the 43rd station on the green line, but there's two green lines.
Yes. I had the honor of like it was genuinely like I was like yes, at like late at night getting to sprint with salarymen.
Oh, to catch the last train.
Like yes, to catch like last trains. I'm like, this is the ultimate experience.
This is like
Yeah,
I've seen this in anime. I've seen this online, bro.
Yeah. It's like it's just like these dudes. They know what they're doing, man. And yeah, we were catching like the last JR trains. I ended up getting lost anyways, but it was so much fun.
Yeah, I think it's like the best part, honestly, is to get lost. Because on vacation, you know, if you get lost, like it's really scary because you have like no contacts. You can be like, Mom, come pick me up. But at the same time, it's like on vacation. To me, it almost feels like it's like another dimension, and maybe that's like a bad way of thinking about it. But when I'm on like vacation in another country, it's like to me it feels like I'm in a different dimension. So I don't play by the same rules that I play when I'm like doing my routine where I live. You know. So if I get lost and I have to like walk around for 5 hours to get back home, that's fine. You know, it's not like I have work tomorrow. It's not like I have work tomorrow, so the fact that I like got home like at 5 a.m. means that I'm gonna be like super tired the next day and I won't be able to go to work, or like that I'm gonna be like working suboptimally. Like, oh, if I'm tired, I'll just like sleep a bit more, and then I'll you know, you have like nothing's like holding you back when you're on vacation, so you can.
No, there was a point like you had to, like you were saying, you have to switch your brain over, right, from its normal way of thinking. So I was like. It was like 12:05 a.m. All the trains have stopped, and I was in Shinagawa, right, in like a big part of the city, which is pretty good for being lost because there are cabs everywhere. But I didn't know that at the time. I was just like, "It's over! It's over!" Like 5 minutes after the train stopped. But after I like collected myself for a little bit, I'm like, "No, wait a second! I just walk around and see what's going on." I got to. It was kind of sad. I was. Before I reached like the main center of Shimagawa, I was just like in I can't remember the name of the station, but there was barely anyone there, and the trains had all stopped, and there was just like this older lady, Japanese lady, just sitting there. She was like on the phone, like screaming at somebody. I'm like, oh, oh no. I was just walking around and just taking in all the sights and sounds while you're lost at night. She was very frustrated because she was in her normal routine.
Do you think you've mentioned this, and I want to have your I want you to elaborate a little bit if you're able to, because it's pretty complex. It's a pretty complex like thing. But how do you feel about seeing like the daily life of Japanese people? Like you said it, you really appreciated the kind of well, one, the charm of it all, but two, you also said that like you like that people seem to mostly kind of have a positive outlook despite everything, and that you kind of like the fact that it's you can see people like staying hopeful and kind of trying to maybe even if they're feeling like the doom and gloom deep in themselves, the way they kind of present outwardly does not reflect that.
Yeah. No, we talked about this a little bit, right, with like tatemae and things like that.
Yes.
It's just it was really nice to experience just like the hospitality and everything. But in the back of my mind, I was like, oh man, are these people like super depressed right now? Like going like, because we were being tourists on weekdays, just hopping on trains and like, oh yay! Like I was smiling like ear to ear, looking out into Tokyo and taking in the sights, but there are people like sitting or standing on the train, just like, oh, another day in the grind. So I got some of that. Like I definitely detected like some cynicism. It wasn't all like sunshine and rainbows. But the people I interacted with were extremely kind and nice. And so I don't know. I don't know if I can talk to like get like a general or if I can comment on like the general sentiment of the Japanese people, especially in a place like Tokyo. I don't know. I feel like I'd have to interview someone about that. I don't know, what do you think?
To me, for sure, like I think it's very jarring as somebody who lives in North America, where I think on average people are like more I don't want to say necessarily more angry or depressed, but more so that like if somebody here is like angry or depressed, they kind of show it outwardly a lot more. So sometimes you go to like the grocery store and the cashier is just like, you can tell the cashier's having a bad day. But when I'm in Japan, like if somebody's having a bad day, like I can't tell. And if somebody doesn't like me because maybe I'm like being an idiot at the shop or something, they I can't tell that they don't like me.
Yeah.
And I think so a lot of people when they go to Japan, they find it very jarring. Like, oh, everybody's so nice to me and they're so polite. Like I'm being treated like I'm being treated like a god almost, you know. And it's just like normal.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily that like they treat you so good. It's more so that like compared to how we're treated here, it's like, oh man, I feel like I'm a god or something.
Yeah.
And and when you're used to having like sometimes very like brief interactions with people that are like kind of very dry, and then you go to Japan and it's almost like, you know, you're some sort of like, you know, it's like, let's say you want to buy something at the convenience store, you know. Over here it's like you buy a pack of gum and it's like
A guy grunts at you, he's like, oh,
he's like and then you're like and you put the money down or you pay by card and he goes and you go and then you leave, right? And then, or you just like look at each other, you don't even talk. He rings you up and you pay and you leave without like even exchanging a word, perhaps not even exchanging a glance. You know,
this is where we have some cultural difference because I live in the Midwest.
is it are people like more kind in the Midwest? Because I know like
there's a little, you know, to use the Japanese phrase, there's some tatemae going on here. But I wouldn't say it's not as, you know, as all encompassing as it is in Japan. But yeah, people generally tend to, because the way we look at it, right? Like me and my boss, my mom, have talked about this, you know, in the coffee shop, where it's like you're providing a service for someone. Part of your service is, you know, you're smiling, even if you're having like the worst day ever, right? Like, oh, you know, some tragedy is befalling you. You still have to like smile at people and make them feel good when they walk in, you know. And I feel like a lot of the Midwest has that kind of vibe. It's not necessarily like spelled out as well as it is in Japan, but yeah, the Midwest has like a stereotype for being that way.
Yeah,
and then you go anywhere else in America, and it's like you know.
I hear about like Southern hospitality, but I thought that was like, you know, that was like the South. You know, I didn't know that it applied to the Midwest as well.
They're like two different like subgroups. So like there's like Midwestern, I don't know if you call it hospitality or kindness or whatever, but yeah, there's a similar deal going on. It's definitely when you get into the cities that kind of disappears a little bit. We're in a small town where I work, and so it's definitely a lot more local, and you've got like kind of a community thing going on, but it's still there if you go to the bigger cities. It's just kind of diminished. So it wasn't super foreign to me, you know, having people in Japan treat me very nicely. It was kind of familiar in a way, but like I had the thought of just like, oh man, you know, they're just being kind to me. I'm just a customer. I hope they're not having like a bad day. Things like that, you know.
Yeah, you know, it's like those guys who I don't I don't know if I want to say that. You know, it's like those guys who they're so, because they live in like maybe a big city and like it's like me when I was describing, like you kind of just grunt at people and it's like, yeah, or you don't even talk to each other and you buy something. So it's like those guys who they go to the grocery store and the lady at the cashier, she's like really nice to them and it's like, oh yeah, I feel like I'm in love with this girl now, you know, like just because she was nice to you, you. Man, it must be so hard going to Japan when like everybody's nice to you. It must create some very strange feelings.
Yep. Yeah, I had armor on, you know, because there are interactions like that where I live, but even I wasn't like impervious to that, right? Where it's just like immediately after getting off the plane, the currency lady was like, here's all your coins and everything, like super super nice. I was like, oh man, this rocks.
Yeah, that's right. If you have a humiliation fetish, you'll feel really bad in Japan because everybody is so nice to you all the time.
Yeah. Go to a giant metropolitan Western city if you're that way. If that's your proclivity.
But do you think it's like too much sometimes in Japan? Because I remember one of my friends was like, dude, it's crazy. You know, like I go to the grocery store here and like I barely even talk to the person and it's like, you know, I just buy my things. Sometimes you don't even look at each other in the eye. But then in Japan, it's like you go to like 7-Eleven and you buy like, I don't know, like a Pocari Sweat or something. And you know, you go to the cash register and it's like, oh, welcome, thank you for you know, shopping at 7-Eleven. Oh, so it's only a Pocari Sweat. Do you want anything else? Is there anything else I can help you with?
Can I get you an extra bag? Can I do this?
And it's like, do you want a bag or not? No, it's okay. Do you want me to open the bottle for you? No, it's okay. And it's like you give them the change. You give them the money, and then, you know, they count the money in front of you to be like, you gave me exactly the right amount, or like, you know, and then here's the change I'm giving you back, and then they count the change, so they put like each coin one by one in either in your hand and the little plastic like
Yeah.
the little like money tray, and then they basically make everything so it's like
Oh.
I'm not like I'm not like shorting you out. Like this is the exact amount of money that you're supposed to get back, and then they count it with you. Then they give you the check. Then they give you the receipt, and then they say like goodbye, thank you for buying with us. Like we hope you have a nice day. And you're like, man, like this interaction took like 7 years, whereas in in North America it's like yeah, okay, bye.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, you scan your card. Beep. Yeah, all right, get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you just gave me a great idea because I am always giving people cash, for their coffee. They bring in like a 20 and I split it. So I'll do that where I hold my hand out and I'm like, you've got 10, 15, 16. Here's your change. Normally I just hand it to them.
Bringing a little bit of Japanese culture to the boys in North America.
That's right. That's right.
Like,
but
I like it a lot.
Sorry, what?
But some people I think might find it excessive because it just makes every interaction last a lot longer. So like if you're one of those like people who value their time a lot, you might be like, why do I have to, why does it have to take 5 minutes just to buy like Pocari Sweat?
Yeah.
I like that.
I think
every moment
if you're a tourist, I think it's fine, right?
Yeah, if you're a tourist, like, what else do you have to do? Like you're not.
Yeah, that's part of the experience.
It's part of the Japanese culture shock.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's like I love it. Like I love those little moments with people, even if it's like kind of fake. Like the fact that I get to spend a little bit of time with somebody like creates a human connection instead of just like the human being like a glorified, like the meat extension to like an ATM, or like the meat extension to like a cash register. It's like I'm actually interacting with somebody.
Yeah, and I feel that way too. But just like part of the problem, it's like part of the reason I'm like walking around feeling like slightly ashamed, or like I don't know if guilty is the right word, but just like very conscious of just like I'm a foreigner in Tokyo. Like part of the that like the tatemae aspect contributes to it because you don't know what people are thinking. It's like oh here it comes, Westerner coming through, but they're smiling at you and they're acting super kindly to you, so you don't know their true. Like if you're annoyed with me or something, like my like the best policy, I'll always say this to people, is like, yeah, please tell me so I could like correct what I'm doing wrong. But in Japan it's like, no, you're wonderful, you're perfect, thank you for your money, hope you have a wonderful day, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that contributes kind of like to, I don't know if it's an anxiety or whatever, but yeah, that's like one of the main feelings I had walking around in Japan, where I was just like, oh man, I gotta be on my best behavior here as a foreigner.
Yeah, it's like guilt. You feel guilt a little bit, like you don't want to abuse of their goodwill, sort of.
Yes.
To me, I see a lot of people when they talk about honne and tatemae, they talk about how they kind of feel bad that they feel lied to. They're like, oh, Japanese people are they're like two-faced, like they don't show their true feelings, so they're all like liars or something. But so it's like, oh, I even see that in Japan sometimes. Like people talk about that and they say, like, people from Japan, they say like, I don't like the kind of two-faced nature of Japan with the honne and the tatemae, but isn't that sort of like everybody does that to like some extent? Maybe Japan does it more than other places, but I feel like in general, you don't interact with everybody the same way. Sometimes you're kinder to certain people because like either it's your job or because it's like it's your mom. Like, maybe you're having a terrible day, but you don't want to like be mean to your mom because you love your mom. So you kind of like soften how you act towards your mom. And at least to me, like, even if maybe it's because over here it's so like individualistic, so people are like, if I'm feeling bad, like I'm gonna express it because I'm my own individual and I don't care about like other people as much. It's like it's
wow.
Like it's they don't care about me and I don't care about them, so it doesn't matter if like I act in a certain way. So like to me, I don't know, like shouldn't be like normal to act kind towards people even if you're not necessarily feeling nice or good, because it just kind of makes every interaction smoother and kind of keeps the world going. Like to me, it doesn't feel like you're lying. It just feels like you're doing your best to kind of adhere to societal standards, and to sort of keep everything kind of hunky-dory.
Yeah, no friction.
Yeah, no friction.
Like, it's an extremely complicated machine that society is. So the least amount of friction possible, right? Keep everything running.
Yeah, and especially because I think in Japan, like you said, oh, for me, regular policy is like, if I'm annoying, please tell me that I'm being annoying right now, so that I can fix my behavior. In Japan, people will maybe try to tell you so that you can change how you act, but they won't tell you directly. Instead, they'll maybe they'll
nudge.
they'll do something that makes you realize that you messed up. So it might be like I don't know. They might leave like a note on your desk with like, I don't know, like maybe like a receipt that you put in the garbage, and like the receipt has like, I don't know, like let's say you showed up to work drunk or something for some reason, like you showed up to work like super hungover, and you kind of worked badly that day, and people noticed, like you were obviously not on your best behavior because like some sort of like alcohol problem, let's say. Maybe what somebody might do is like, better than putting like a receipt on your desk that has like the, I don't know, like, oh, you bought whiskey last night. It's like they put like a bottle of like anti-headache medicine or something on your desk. So it's like it's a way to to tell you, like, I know that you felt like shit today, and here I'm gonna help you out. I'm giving you this medicine, but also I noticed, so don't do that again.
Yeah.
And at the same time, maybe you won't know who put the bottle there. You just know that somebody noticed and put the bottle there. So it's like, one, they're not bringing attention to themselves because you don't know who noticed and who's like calling you out. And they're not calling you out in front of everybody, and they're not being mean about it. They're just calling you out like sort of, little touch over here. So it's like they're maintaining like that lack of friction, and they're doing it in a very like smooth way. And maybe you would feel bad. I feel like maybe if you did that to like somebody over here, they would feel insulted, be like, what the hell, like, but
who did that? Who put this on my desk? Yeah.
Who put this on my desk? Like, you feel called out, right? You feel like somebody's like making fun of
funny?
you. Yeah, somebody's insulting you, or like somebody's making fun of you. But in Japan, it's more so like, yeah, I noticed, and I don't want to make a scene about it. I don't want you to know who noticed or anything, but like, think about it next time. Maybe you shouldn't be acting that way. So people will call you out, they just won't do it directly and make a scene about it. So once again, it's like very kind of no friction, very smooth.
And honestly, I think that'd be more effective on me, where it's like, if I had that happen to me, I'd be like, oh, yeah, it's like, oh, I can't believe I was so dense or so stupid to do this, blah blah blah.
Yeah, so that's something that kind of happened to me a few times. Not that I did anything to warrant being called out on, but sometimes maybe you do something and you realize that what you did was maybe like a faux pas, let's say. You did something that maybe rubs people the wrong way, or like maybe it didn't rub people the wrong way, but that it could have. And then you kind of think on it, and instead of being like, but, and then trying to like justify yourself and kind of getting angry about it and being like, well, it's in my country it's fine, or being like like I wish they would have told me, or something like that. You sort of instead of taking it badly and lashing out, you deal with those like negative emotions that and you kind of internalize it, and you're like, you know what, like I'm gonna kind of like change my behavior. Like, you shouldn't take it personally, basically, is what I'm saying. Like, you should change how you act to accommodate to how it kind of how it is in Japan. And I think it requires a lot of willpower, let's say, because it's sort of like you analyze how you're acting and you realize that maybe how you're acting is not in line with how Japanese society is, and instead of blaming Japanese society, you realize that you should you should mold yourself to fit Japanese society rather than trying to rebel against and be like, well, instead, basically, you shouldn't focus too much on like your individualistic desire.
Your Western, your Western teaching, perhaps.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people, they you see it a lot when people go to Japan and maybe they move to Japan or whatever, and they're like, oh, you know, living in Japan is actually not as glamorous as everybody says it is. Like, it's so lonely, and you know, I always feel like I can never fit in, and whatever. And then they start like, and then sometimes they get very like disillusioned and they start like shitting on Japan. Like I was saying earlier, like the tatemae and honne thing, where it's like, oh, they're liars, you know, like they're like two-faced. Or they say like, you know, in Japan, like people always say, you know, the nail that sticks out gets hammered down, which is a very real saying, by the way. And they feel like, oh, you know, they don't let you be yourself. It's a very like it's a very frictionless society, but that frictionless society comes like a lot of downsides and stuff. And to me, I always wonder about that, where it's like, instead of taking it personally and sort of like lashing out and kind of internalizing a sort of like hatred in your heart of all these like so-called flaws that you find about Japan, you need to realize that it's just like a different sort of society, and that maybe, you know, you should adapt to it. And if you can't, then maybe you shouldn't have moved to Japan in the first place. Not that I'm trying to say that, you know, people shouldn't move to Japan or anything, but I think a lot of people move there because they appreciate the sort of, because going there on a trip versus going there to live is very different.
Yep. And I think, like, you know, if you're going there because of like the cultural impact it has on the rest of the world, it's understandable. But like deciding to live there, you know, you're agreeing to like a bigger package when you decide to live somewhere, right? So there's a whole, like, not paying any attention to, I don't know, a cultural expectation, or like learning a cultural expectation. It just seems silly to me, you know, is that you're kind of agreeing to a bunch of rules when you decide to, not even just Japan, just anywhere really.
Yeah.
Right.
I just think is that Japan has more different rules than, let's say, you know, you're an American and you move to Canada, or you're a Canadian and you move to like, I don't know, like England. I think, you know, in general, maybe for like a few cultural differences, I think that the societal contract is pretty similar.
Yes.
Like you know, you're not gonna have to change your life radically to live in England if you're Canadian or something. But if you move to Japan, then it's like, well, you know, it's very different. So you can't expect Japan to accommodate you when, you know, you're the one moving there and you're trying to. But that's the thing, you know, it's like we were talking about, you know, the worst case scenario, we become podcast bros and we move to Japan and we just cash in on like the podcast money. And like
you like all of the Japanese you've learned, all of the, you know, all of the customs, you know, the amount of integration you've done already, you just toss it out the window to become a podcast bro.
yeah that's something that I find strange about, is when you see like these people who live in Japan that are like Japanese content influencers. Like, I'm not afraid to admit I've been in Japan for 2 years and I still don't know how to speak Japanese. And you're like, huh? Like, what? Like, yeah, like, you know, I don't expect you to speak perfect fluent Japanese after 3 years. It's a complicated language, you know. But like to like basically say that you haven't tried at all to learn how to speak Japanese, you know, you live in Japan, but because you're like a podcaster, you're like a YouTuber, like you don't have a, I kind of feel bad saying this, you don't have a real job, so you don't need to interact with like Japanese people and learn the language.
Yes.
And
learn nothing award. You give yourself the I've learned nothing award. Woo-hoo!
Yeah, and then you only interact with like other foreigners that live in Japan, so you only speak with them and spend time with them, so you never kind of integrate the Japanese culture.
Yeah.
And then you talk about like Japanese culture on YouTube, and you kind of either give a very kind of surface level, very like rose tinted glasses view of Japan, because you never kind of dive into it too deeply, or you start like talking bad about Japan, being like, they're two-faced, you know, like honne tatemae, and they don't accept foreigners, and it's so lonely here, you know, you can't make friends here.
Yeah.
But then, you know, it's because you don't
But I moved here. I spent tons of money to move my life here, but I hate it here. These people are unwelcoming.
Yeah, like I don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't get why people would do that.
All right, not to like episode 1 like derail it and ruin it. I gotta take a quick break. I'll be right back.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
We've been going pretty good. It's like hour and a half.
Yeah, I can go for like right 30 more minutes probably.
Okay, sweet. Yep, just a second. I don't know. Should we leave? Should we leave like me getting up and taking a break in, and then we can like put a fake commercial in.
Yeah, we can
something.
we can try to
It's
do a
like-
fake commercial. Yeah. I'll ask
Okay.
one of our friends like Cam to do like a fake commercial or something.
Oh,
He's
that'd
good
be
at
awesome.
those.
Sweet. All right, I'll be right back.
All right. So in case Cam doesn't make a fake commercial for this part, I'm gonna talk a little bit while Joe's gone. So we sort of kind of got in really quick, but I'm Beef and he's Joe, and we're two good friends who have good chemistry. So we wanted to talk a lot and kind of do a little podcast. Episode one's on Japan because he went on a Japan trip recently, and I wanted to see his thoughts on what he experienced there as somebody who had never been. And me, my sort of my credentials for Japan is that I worked in a Japanese kitchen for 6 years. I'm friends with a lot of Japanese people, and I've lived in Japan for 3 months in Kyoto with my girlfriend, who is from Kyoto, and I speak the Japanese language and have many friends in Japan. So I think I have a little bit of a I wouldn't say I can speak on it with any authority, but I think I have a unique experience that can be interesting. So that's why I wanted to talk about this a little bit with my friend Joe. And I think it's a really great place, and I think I just want to tell everybody to go. Even if it's even if you don't have interest in Japan from like a in a very strong way, I think it's worth, if you like traveling, I think it's worth it, because especially if you're somebody from North America or you're from Europe, if you go to Europe or North America, like a different country, even if the culture is different, like you go from England to Spain, there's still some overlap in like Western culture and like values and religion and aesthetics and things like that. So it might feel a little bit similar. Whereas I feel like as a traveler, going to Japan is one of the best things you can do, because the culture, the aesthetics, the way society works and everything is so different that it's just worth visiting on its own for the experience of it, because it's so novel and different from what you're used to. Have you come back?
I'm back. Yeah.
Yeah, I was feeling some dead air by talking about my background.
Oh, nice.
I was talking about
Continue.
like if we can't get an ad break from a fake ad, I'll try to fill in the dead air. So I was talking about like my credentials. I was saying
As
that
a
like
soon to be Japanese or living in Japan
yeah,
man.
I was
So.
talking about how you went to Japan recently,
Mm.
and how I have worked in Japanese kitchen for like 5 years, and that I lived in Kyoto for 3 months with my girlfriend, and I plan to go live with her full time, and that I speak the language and I have friends in Japan, and I've experienced Japan from a non-tourist point of view.
Yeah, because we did not. We did that.
We didn't do an
Like
intro. We didn't introduce
yeah, we
ourselves.
don't. We just started talking, which I kind of
Yeah.
prefer, honestly.
I
But
also said like I'm
we
Beef,
did.
he's Joe. Like
Yep.
because I don't even think we said our names. I
Yeah,
called you
yep.
Joe a
No,
few
we just
times, and you called me
I
Beef a
like it.
few
We
times.
just started talking.
Yeah, straight from the dome, in media
Yeah,
res.
yeah. It's not like welcome to the Joe and B podcast. Well, we didn't do any of that. So
Yeah,
just
but
got
we gotta be
right to it.
careful, because if we say like Joe Beef or something, like we might get like sued by like the famous Montreal restaurant Joe Beef.
Oh no. Well, it's a Canadian and American laws. That'd be a big hassle for them.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, exactly. Maybe they won't deal with it. They'll just like
They can sue you. They can't sue me.
Jesus. As a future resident of Japan, this does not apply to me.
I disagree.
Yeah, I was talking about how Japan is a very different country from Western countries. So,
Yes.
as a if you're a traveler, I think it's worth going to Japan. Even if you're not interested in the culture, I think going to Japan on a trip is worth it, because it's so different. Like going from going from America to England, or going from America to somewhere in Europe. There's some overlap in culture and aesthetics, religion, food, whatever. Like there's some overlap. So it's like, it feels a little bit similar. if you go from like North America to South America, there's still a little bit of overlap, you know, like especially if you come from like, let's say in my case, I come from Quebec, so I speak French. So like going to countries that speak Spanish is like a little bit of that like romance language thing going on. But then going from like, you know, North America or like Europe to Japan, like Japan is totally different. And I think it's also more foreigner friendly maybe than places like China or Korea, which are, well, maybe nowadays Korea is very like foreigner friendly, but I don't mean in the sense that like, you know, people in China don't like foreigners. I also mean like, I think in Japan, like there's a lot of signs in English. There's a lot of like, even though people won't necessarily speak English, there's a lot of signs in English, and the user experience of Japan is very like smooth. Like machines are very responsive, and toilets are clean, and everything is very like self-evident. Like most things you interact with are easy to understand. Like, you know, you press buttons and the buttons are either like,
no, everything, like if things are analog, it's because it's easier to use them when they're analog, and so they just haven't replaced it.
Yeah.
And they've maintained things, and then things are digital when it makes sense for them to be digital. It's really cool.
Yeah, and like sometimes even if it's like in Japanese, the design language is like so obvious that you can tell what means what and like what button does what, just like on visuals alone. I think it's a smooth experience.
Yep.
So Joe, you know, this is something I want to ask because it's basically one of my number one interests. But like, did you eat anything really cool while you were there?
Let's see. There were several ramen shops we went to. I think I showed you the image of it.
Dude, that bowl was monstrous.
Yeah, the ultimate gaijin bowl is what I called it because it was really expensive.
Yeah, dude, that was like, it was like more than $20.
Yeah.
It was like 2,000 something yen, which is crazy. I can't even imagine paying ramen for that price.
Yep. To be honest, like with food and everything, there was so much excitement, at least my brain, and I think friends were like this as well, where it's just like we were so excited that it was hard for us to get hungry and like go and eat somewhere and like plan that out. We usually just found a place while we were out walking, like,
yeah, that's the best.
We should probably eat so we don't fall over, you know?
Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah. So we had gyudon, we had, let's see.
Gyudon is really inexpensive.
Yeah, but it was kind of, the place we went to wasn't super cheap either. I did get some extra, I got like an extra bowl of green onions, and an egg as well. Yeah, negi, right? Negi.
Yeah,
and,
negi, green
tamago.
onions.
Yeah.
Negi to tamago.
So yeah, that was the day we walked around for like 8 hours straight. We got gyudon to like fuel ourselves.
Yeah, gyudon is very good.
Times,
stamina, like food.
Yeah, like what's the food that like Japanese farmers invented? Like keep workers working all day. I think I remember you telling me like a specific kind of dish.
Right now I can't remember, but in Japan there's this thing called like a stamina bowl, and it's basically like tons of meat, garlic, and like ginger.
Yeah, keep you going. But yeah, that's the majority of what I remember. I had some gyoza as well. It was like coriander gyoza. Which is
yeah.
It was like in a mall thing. Yeah. And then some other bowls. I can't remember the names of them though. It was really just like, you know, basic level tourism where it was just like, I think that looks good. Give me that, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And did you have any like memorable food experiences, or was it just more like the food was just kind of like a side to your trip? Because like you said, you were like too excited to kind of want to eat.
There's that bowl that we were talking about, right? One of my friends, you know, you probably can guess which one, but because I went with two guys, but like that bowl was so good, we got the same thing, and so he just sat there like the you know, you told us previously in a group chat or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, slurping is great.
yeah, slurping is especially for noodles and stuff. Slurping is like it's a way to, one, it's because the food, it comes in so hot that by slurping and like inhaling that air, you're cooling down the food as you eat it, so you can eat it while it's piping hot, because it's best eaten piping hot. And because you don't want to wait, because especially in Tokyo, like restaurants are small and there's so many people that you want to eat quickly, so that the next person can come in and eat. Yep. And also just because since the food's best when it's hot, you want to cool it down, but you don't want to like wait. And also because it's like a way of appreciating the food. You're showing that like you like the food so much that like you're eating it with like gluttony almost.
The chef can hear you. He's like, yeah, did a good job. Essentially. But yeah, no, my friend took that to heart, and while we were eating that, it was like the loudest slurping of all time.
Yeah.
I was like really conflicted because half my brain is like, oh yeah, he's showing these people he really enjoys it, compliments to the chef. But the other half of my brain is like, this is so loud.
Yeah, I have the same problem because I'm very like sensitive to like people eating food noises. Like it drives me crazy. I want to like kill people when I hear that. Like an automatic reaction. So when I'm eating in Japan and people are like slurping, I'm like, oh my god, make it stop! I'm going crazy. But at the same time, I'm like, it's part of the culture, Over time, I got used to it.
Well, like the Japanese audio level, it's like obviously everyone's gonna slurp differently, but the average Japanese audio level was like nothing compared to this.
So that was like, memorable.
Yeah, it was like jet engine, it was like the ultimate noodle suck.
I'll show you the power of American infantry.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it was. So I will remember that forever.
And I'm sure you've had some. Okay, my question is like, did you eat food that like made you feel like culture shock? Maybe not in Japan, but I know you went to Malaysia as well.
Yes. Yeah, no, the most food I had, like, I think the most interesting food experiences were in Malaysia.
Yeah.
So, I tell you about what was it called?
Tell me about like the organs and stuff.
Yeah, we did something called a steamboat lunch where, like, you went into this underground mall, which is already kind of cool. It's like this third world-ish looking underground seafood mall. And so I don't know. It was laid out really, really cool. And I can't really describe it super well, but it essentially was just like kind of like a farmer's market looking thing. Like imagine that. Just
I'm not sure. Maybe I'm gonna come off as like ignorant and whatever, but I believe these are called like wet markets, where it's basically like
yes, yeah.
It's like a market that sells like live fish, seafood, and like other fresh things that are not dry. So it's like a wet market.
Yeah, so imagine the layout of a wet market, except it's like, subterranean. It's just totally underground.
The smells must be really like cool. Crazy.
Oh yeah,
because like they can't dissipate into the air, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of like you could see a lot of fans and things like meant to like dissipate it a little bit, but it was really strong. Like as soon as we stepped out of the car. But yeah, it was just like a market underground, but there was a part of this where it was a restaurant, and so you would grab things from the market and take them into the restaurant. And they're like, yes, welcome to the steamboat. They'd say in like Chinese or Malaysian or, some mixture of languages. But they'd say, yeah, welcome to the steamboat. And I sat down with the group of, like, I was basically adopted by a Chinese family while I was there, Chinese-Malaysian family. We all sat down around the table, and we all just dumped everything that we thought looked good into like a pot. And it all just cooked together, And so it was like a very communal, very like nice meal. You're just sharing literally everything with everyone on the table. Like I never had an experience like that, so it was really
really
cool. Yep.
Really over here,
yeah,
like
no, I was like, you're gonna just dump like chicken feet in and expect me to eat that? Okay, yeah, I'm game.
I love chicken feet,
things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, over here, like maybe it's because of like kind of French and whatever influence, but over here we have like a form of like raclette, which is like a communal cheese, bread, and like charcuterie meats eating thing, where it's like a communal grill, and we kind of grill things on there. We melt the cheese, put it on the potatoes, put it on the bread. So it's like a communal kind of grill kind of food. And another thing we eat often is like fondue, which is self-explanatory. I think you guys know a little bit about fondue in the United States, but It's
We've
like
done our
cheese
own
fondue,
homemade
oil
fondue.
fondue, like broth fondue. And in Japan, they have like nabe, which is like usually like a pot of like boiling soup or something, and then you dump ingredients in there, like either shabu shabu or sukiyaki or just like nabe, like different forms of nabe. So it's like I love that kind of communal food. Like to me, it's the best.
Yeah, it exists in America. It's just you have to go looking for it, right?
You
So
don't
for
got
me, like our family had never really done that, so it was like a brand new experience for me.
you don't have like hot pot restaurants in the middle of nowhere in the Midwest.
No, nope.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
mean,
so cool. You're just
you know
like
what?
driving on a highway.
I never thought about that, but where you are, like, there's probably not that many uh multicultural establishments.
Mm. Well, when you get into like, because I live near a college town, I'm like 20 minutes out from a college town, so there is some of that. It's mostly like Mexican fusion, and there's some like Indian restaurants. There's some like I don't know Middle Eastern restaurant. I don't know. There's a term for it for that kind of food. But I can't remember. But yeah, we've got things like that. We've got like like and there of course there's like brand name cultural
McDonald's.
food. Yeah, yeah. Well, like you're like your brand name Japanese restaurants and your Korean barbecue restaurants and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the authenticity of those is questionable.
Yeah, and even if it is like
they're like
run by,
nationwide.
yeah, even if it's run by like I don't know, like actually Japanese people or actually Korean people, like oftentimes, they, and this is not a knock on anything. It's actually something that I
Yeah,
really admire and appreciate. But they change the food to appeal to the palate of the country they're in.
yeah, yeah.
So you'll eat like Americanized Chinese food, and people always like, they go like, oh, Americanized Chinese food is not real Chinese food, but it's based on real Chinese food and uses like Chinese ingredients and like flavor profiles and ingredients. It's just that they do it to appeal to like an American
Hmm.
mouth because you want to make money when you're in the United States,
Yeah.
so you're gonna make it
Staying in
so to,
business is good.
yeah, exactly. It's a good business thing, and it creates like interesting new foods.
And now we've got a lot of Chinese food here, but I don't think we've got really any like similar to where you work, like authentic highbrow Japanese restaurants. I don't think we have any of those really. We had a
Yeah.
Korean one for a while, but it didn't stick around too long. I think the pandemic killed it actually, which kind of stinks.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
The restaurant industry had a really rough time with the
Uh,
pandemic.
but I'm thankful there are still just restaurants at all. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Glad not everything got destroyed.
So your most memorable meal was like basically eating with the locals of a place.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily even the food itself. Or the food, like you got a flavor boost just from the experience. Like
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
everyone sharing their food with each other. Like they're Chinese, and so that's like just their culture. That's just like how they do things most of the time when they're eating together. But for me, it's like I, you know, never experienced that, and so I don't think they realized like how how awesome that was for me. They just were very matter of fact. It's like yes, like I would drink my tea and they would like refill it instantly.
Yeah, it's very
Like yeah,
different
that's
from
just our custom.
making a grilled cheese, putting it on a plate, and bringing it to your PC while
Yeah,
you watch a YouTube video essay
VTubers.
and eat your grilled cheese.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a
I
similar
know.
experience. I think my most memorable meal in Japan was when I went to Kyoto for the first time, and I met up with these guys who are like friends with my boss. So they're like close to their 60s. They're like late 50s Japanese
Yes. Is
guys.
that guy you showed me with the hair?
Yeah,
He
yeah, the
wore your
guy with
hair?
no hair.
Yeah.
He was like my contact in Japan, so I met him, and he's like, I'll show you what like Japanese food is all about. So me and my friends, I asked him like, I'm the one who knows your friend, but I'm traveling with my mates, so I'll is it okay if I bring my friends with me? And he's like, yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like, I wanna show you guys everything. So I go see him at his vegetable store, and he he's like, "Do you guys want to drink beer?" And then my friend's like, "Oh, we don't really drink." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take beer." You know, like I don't really drink beer, but I'll take some. You know, I'm not gonna say no. And so we drink a little bit of beer, and then his other friend shows up, who's also a friend of my boss. And they start talking, and they're like, "You guys haven't been to like an izakaya yet?" We're like, "Nah, like we don't know because it seems like it's very like daunting to go to like these restaurants that have like very big, varied menus that like where like everything is supposed to go with like beer or alcohol, and where you're very much expecting the entire shop to just be filled with Japanese people, and it's like everything is Japanese, so we're very like intimidated."
Yeah.
So like, "Oh, do not fear. We'll go to an izakaya together, and we'll order everything for you guys. So you guys just have to eat." So we go to this izakaya together, and it's me, my two friends, the two old guys, and one of the two guys' wife. And I think it's a place that like sort of specializes in like grilled chicken and like skewers, but they do like a lot of stuff. And they start ordering for us, and me, I'm like having the time of my life because I'm just eating like all these foods that I've never had before. And my friends are a little bit intimidated by the food, but they use me as like their canary in the mine shaft, you know, where it's like if beef is like freaking out, you know, maybe we shouldn't eat it, but if beef likes it, maybe we should try it out. But the thing is, I like everything, so
Yeah.
So at the same
you're
time,
curious about everything.
so at the same time, it's like you know, maybe there's some stuff that's like I don't know, but for me it was like yeah.
Yeah.
And
even if it, you know, it doesn't appeal to you, you're still really curious about it.
yeah, and so I think at one point they tried like testing us because they would give us what I considered to be like a little bit like, you know, advanced tier, especially like for foreigners who have like never eaten something like in their life, you know, like oh, this is like steamed clams or like sake. You're like yeah, you know, like I've never eaten this, but I can see the use case. I can see like the flavor profile. But like, oh yeah, this is squid fermented in its own liver, and then you're like, and I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, but you have to eat this with sake. Like on its own, it's like it's pretty good, but with sake, it's like it's the best. And I was like drinking with them beer and sake, and one of my friends drank beer but no sake, and then my other friend drank a tiny bit of sake and a little bit of beer. But I was drinking like beer and sake with the best of them. It was great. Like, you know, I ate a bunch of foods, even if some of them maybe were like given to us to kind of like test us. I think I passed the test. And
Yeah,
that was my most
feeling.
that was my most memorable night for sure. Spending time with those guys, practicing my Japanese with them, even though they both of them spoke a little bit of English. Eating a bunch of new foods, discovering some new favorites, and just getting to experience like a real deal. You know, like what do people eat on a night out in Japan? You know, like nothing fancy, but what do like what's the common food? You know, like if you go to the United States, I don't think, you know, people go to, you know, Texas Roadhouse every day, you know. But
Yeah.
what do you eat when you're, let's say you and the boys get together and you go to like get a bite together, maybe at the bar? Like what do you eat? You know, that's how it felt.
Gotten together. Yeah. I don't know. In America, it's like, I don't know. It's kind of sad in the Midwest. Like, I guess you just pick out a chain restaurant. You're like, I guess we're gonna go here.
Go to Chili's.
Yeah, Chili's. Yeah. On Sundays are like, you know, after church. That's like the main thing. Where it's like, there's this really cool Honduran restaurant we go to now. That's like really authentic. Kind of pricey, but it's because they import all of their ingredients.
Yeah.
From Honduras, so it's worth it. But yeah, that's like that's one of the best feelings about you know, traveling and like having people show you food is like impressing them with your, like, you know, because they might have like conceptions about you. It's like, oh yeah, they're Canadian or they're American or Western. They're not gonna be all about this. And then you're like, no, I like eating organs. I'll take a plate of organs, please.
Oh yeah,
I did that in Malaysia, where they were like, I'm impressed, you know. They're like, you know, I mean, it was really basic stuff. Like, you know how to use chopsticks really well. It's like, yeah, yep.
Mind if the white boy uses chopsticks for a
that's how it was. Yeah, it's like, do you want me? You know, I had the guy who picked me up. He's like, "You want me to ask for a fork?" I'm like, "I got this." You know, stand back. Using chopsticks. Doing dim sum in Malaysia.
Oh, dude, I love dim sum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for sure, for me, they knew a little bit already that I liked fermentation and like Japanese, more like quote unquote weird foods. So I think maybe that's why they tried to like testing me. They're like, oh, you say you like weird foods, like here you go, and I liked it. And I remember like when we taught whenever I went to like restaurants and there was like really Japanese techniques or really Japanese ingredients, I always kind of like, I mean, of course it's like it's related to my job, but like people will always be really impressed by my knowledge. The thing is like,
Yeah.
you know, I thought I knew a lot, but every time I go to like a restaurant, I learn something new, and it's nice because yeah, sure, I work in a restaurant, like a Japanese restaurant, and I do like fancy things, but there's a lot of stuff that we don't do here because it doesn't appeal to the Western palate. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like I'm not gonna serve squid fermented in its own liver over here, even though I would love to. I think it's
Yeah.
really delicious, and I kind of want to see what I could do like in like a fancy restaurant way. You know, like instead of just serving that,
Yeah.
like I kind of do something around it. Um,
Yeah, if you pitch that as a new recipe idea to your boss, and he'd be like, no, we're not.
yeah,
We're
I
not
mean,
gonna
even my
be doing
boss isn't even like that much.
that. Oh,
And I remember, like, to me, that's how it. If you want to make friends in Japan and you want to kind of meet people and kind of, to me, the great equalizer, like the kind of social link booster, is food, for sure.
yeah.
Like if you're able to show, if you show that you're able to eat food with the best of them, you know, you eat food that they like to eat, you eat food that is very foreign to you, and yet you still, you know, go out of your way to eat it, and you to show that even if maybe you don't like it, you at least want to try it, and that
Yeah,
you're open to those kinds of things. You know, like food is a very communal thing, especially in the Asian countries, I would say. Like you said, you know, like in Malaysia, and because the Malaysian Chinese thing, that you know, they eat communally together, and in Japan too, like even if you go to an izakaya alone, you're very rarely gonna feel alone, because oftentimes, you know, after like 2 drinks, you start talking with the people around you. And nabe culture, and usually nabe and like those kinds of like grilled like yakiniku is like shared. And so if you eat with people, you know, you'll create bonds, because that's what food is all about. And same thing in Japan, you know, alcohol as well. Like if you want to be real with people and you want people to open up, like one of the best ways is to get some alcohol flowing. And
yeah.
I think even if you're against drinking alcohol, I mean, unless you're like a recovering alcoholic and you don't want like where even like the smell of alcohol is gonna make you relapse or something, like don't drink, obviously. And I do not condone excessive drinking or anything, but I think if you're in
Yeah.
Japan, like even if you're against the idea of drinking because you're like, I'm gonna be like a sober guy and I don't want to drink,
Straight edge.
you need to get over yourself a little bit.
Yeah,
I think you can, you know, don't drink every day, like don't drink alone. But if you're, you know, getting a night out with the boys, even if you're like straight edge all the time, when you're on the night out with the boys, maybe drink a little bit. You know, one, it shows that you care about the shared social contract, and two, it's very important in Japanese like drinking culture. So, you know, I've always considered myself like straight edge, but when I'm now like in a social context with friends and with other people, like I drink, and it makes them happy, and it shows that I care enough to kind of get over my own hangups and sort of adapt and acclimate to them.
yeah. And it means a lot too when it's like, you know, this guy that never drinks is like, hey, yeah, no, for you guys, I'll throw one back. You know,
Yeah, that's why when you
it
come
means
visit
a
me,
lot.
you'll have to get litty with the boys.
The sake will be flowing.
Yeah, I mean, have you noticed why like sake cups are like tiny?
Because it's powerful.
No, well, a little bit, yeah, compared to beer. Like, what beer's like 4%, sake is like 13, 16%.
Yeah.
But no, it's because you're meant to refill your friend's cup like constantly. It's very like social.
Ah,
You're always like, refilling everybody's cup and offering sake to people, and it's very like and because let's say, you all finish your cup at the same time, so everybody gets a refill, and then you do another kanpai together. You're like, yeah, let's go. It's very like
yeah.
it's very social.
Just continues. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I think I don't know. It's just cool when you can kind of cross, like, show your enthusiasm for another culture, like a simple action like that.
Yeah,
Good to
exactly.
know.
There's a lot of like shortcuts.
Hmm.
Like oh, hello, Coz. My cat's here. But yeah, there's a lot of like shortcuts in the sense that, like, let's say you want to make friends, like Japanese friends, or you want to be accepted by Japanese people. One really easy way is to speak Japanese. You know, like,
Yeah, it seems
okay,
obvious,
easy,
but a lot of
easy,
people
quote
fail that
unquote,
simple
easy,
task.
quote unquote.
Uh,
But what I mean more is that if you show that you care enough to learn their language, even if it's just a little bit, it shows a lot of like, you're putting the effort to because, and I mean, in my opinion, it's a little bit rude to go to a different country and then expect them to speak your language.
oh, of course, of course.
I
Yeah,
also know
no,
that it's
like
kind
just
of the
speaking from
reality.
my. Oh, sorry, what?
I was just saying, I know it's the reality of like tourism and travel, but
Mm, yeah. With tourism, it's a little bit more understandable, but with Japan, it just gets ridiculous. So people have been living here for years.
yeah.
They don't speak
What were we
anything.
gonna say? Like, you
But
had.
I was gonna say, like, I know for me, because we live in a really small town with like a just, it's basically just white people. So whenever like someone who's like a foreigner or a tourist, they come through, which happens, on occasion, and we're really lucky because we're like a coffee shop, just like on the road, so we're like a hot spot for like a traveler coming through or something. And so whenever they come through and like they make an effort to, share in the experience with us, like speak English or whatever, it means a lot.
Yeah, it
So.
warms the heart.
Yep. And that's to an American, so you can imagine how powerful it is to someone who actually, you know, Americans aren't typically aren't super impressed easily. So
Yeah. I also think I don't want to say that there's like a sort of level of entitlement where it's like English is the global
yeah,
language, but um I also understand that in Japan, at least to my knowledge, according to my girlfriend and people I've spoken to, they acknowledge the fact that Japanese is a very difficult language to learn.
mm,
So they don't expect people to speak it perfectly, and they don't expect people to, to know like 100% of the vocabulary and read every kanji. But they understand Japanese is difficult. So when they see somebody speak Japanese or try to speak Japanese, they're very happy.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it shows like an effort. And same thing with like food, like if you're, instead of just eating, Japanese curry and tonkatsu and like all those kind of more like foreigner friendly foods that are like trendy a little bit everywhere, or instead of just going to McDonald's all the time, um having that sort of shared connection with like trying foods from Japan is more like, I think it's also like a way of showing effort. So hold on, I'm gonna go. I really need to go to the bathroom, and also we can probably
That's what I did. Yeah.
start like finishing it up too, because I have
All right.
stuff to do. But
Yeah, yeah.
so
We did pretty
you
good. I
you
had
can
2
think
hours.
about your closing thoughts as I take my long piss.
All right. I'll start singing or something. Oh, there you go. Yeah. No, I love Japan. Japan is cool. I'm going back. It's something that was decided. I think that's a pretty common sentiment. Um, People decide while they're in Japan, like their trip is nearing the end. Like, oh, I'm coming back here. It's true. That's what I'm gonna do. Uh, I gotta go south and I gotta go north. Family wants to go too, so we might go to Tokyo again. But no, very exciting. Closing thoughts. I don't got anything. It was good. It was 2 hours. I'm spent. want to go see the deer in Nara. Get like impaled. Yeah, that's our. I'm not sure. We'll be doing. We might do a part 2 because I mean, obviously we can keep on going on this topic for forever. But we also have a ton of other topics we want to do. The Joe and Beef show. So we're gonna definitely switch it up a little bit. Might revisit Japan again as like trip dates get further cemented. Like we'll probably do one when Beef moves, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I really hope so. I mean, I just came in. I just came in, so I don't know exactly what you're saying, but like I heard we'll probably do one when Beef comes in. So I don't know if you're talking about like a Japanese trip or if you're talking about like another podcast episode.
Yeah. I was like, I was just saying like we could keep talking about Japan forever, basically. Cause
we easily could.
Like 2 hours, and it just like went by really fast.
Yeah, I know.
So I was just saying, it's like we've got other topics for the podcast.
Yeah. We're not just podcast bros that talk about Japan.
But we probably will do like a part 2 or talk about it again,
we'll probably revisit it. I think it would be very interesting because do a Japan part 2 because you only went to Tokyo this time.
Yeah. That's what I was saying while you're peeing. I was like, I need to go north, I need to go south.
I think you coming to Kyoto and Kansai to visit me and me showing you around more like, well, I'll show you a few touristy things. I think Kyoto has a lot of really beautiful temples and gardens and things like that, but also just like bringing you to like some restaurants that I like and showing you things that maybe is off the beaten path. I think it'll change your perspective a lot, because if right now your image of Japan is probably very like big city coded. It has that like Japan is living in the year 2068 kind of
and also 1993,
and also at the same time in the 80s. But yeah, we have other topics, video games and the male loneliness epidemic.
Yeah,
I don't like calling it that, but
we'll be armchair psychologists. And
but I think
with one podcast
as two maybe neurodivergent guys,
mildly acoustic.
I think we can offer our perspective. And also as two men who maybe while we do suffer from the ailments of modern society, we also are able to kind of move past them.
Yeah.
I think we don't have as many.
We adapted well, right? Like
Yeah, we don't have as many hang-ups maybe as some people. And
like
maybe we can.
At the very beginning, we were talking about like how it's easy to just be alone. We're pretty good at that, so.
Yeah, exactly. We're good at that, and yet we are able to also move past that, Yeah. And
we're getting to the point where we can do that. I'm still working on that.
Me too. For sure. Me going to Japan has really like kind of made me more social, even though it's supposed to be like a pretty antisocial place apparently.
Yeah.
And
we didn't even get to bridge the topic of how just like going there like rewired your brain,
Yeah, but I think the brain rewiring can be kept for another episode. Not necessarily another episode on Japan, but I think it's like tangentially related to other topics you want to reach.
Yeah. If we're gonna talk about like the modern state of man, have a whole podcast dedicated to that, we could bring it up in that episode. So.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be cool.
I was I was trying to think of how I want to close this episode, but really, I think for me, all I wanted to say was that I think whether you want to go to Japan for, touristy kind of like trendy reasons, I don't think it's a problem, even though I was talking like about some of the cynicism that I had regarding that. I don't think it's bad necessarily. I just think you have to go in it with an open mind and not think that Japan is like a theme park, like people there are real people, and even though they treat you super nicely and they're very like, customer service forward, like it's not because they're like theme park employees, they're real people. So even if you only do the top 3 like big cities and see all the top like popular things like Tokyo Skytree and you go to like Dotonbori in Osaka and things like that, like you have to realize that everybody who's there is a real person and you yourself are also a real person, and so are the tourists. So it's easy to hate on tourists and think that you're the only good tourist, but you know it's not true. Everybody has like their own kind of reason to be there.
Yep.
And I think in general the grifters, let's say, I think there's way fewer grifters than we think, but it's like a loud minority online that are trying to like
Yeah. Just it's what you see, right? It's what you hear.
exactly, like I'm sure there's like, you know, Japan has seen like the most tourists they've ever seen, like back to back to back, like year after year, and like there's probably like 20 grifters online that you see, but would then you count like the millions of tourists who go to Japan and have like an absolutely awesome time?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Joe, closing thoughts.
I was saying it while you were peeing. I'm like, let's see, what am I gonna do for closing thoughts? I love Japan. Japan's cool.
Yeah.
You know, definitely plan on going there again. I was saying how like it's really common for people to, once they like when they're in Japan, like near the end of their trip, they've already decided, I'm coming back. You know, that's how it was for me.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. Like,
and a friend of mine.
everybody I've ever spoken to, they have like that post Japan depression, and they also have that like, well, I shouldn't be too depressed because I'm already planning my next trip.
Yeah.
So I get it goes to
I
show.
wouldn't say I was depressed. It was like it was a 2-week trip for me, which was more than I'd ever done. So I was like, all right, you know, I was pretty spent by the end of it.
Yeah, you're excited to
Walking
get back to your
around,
routine.
going everywhere.
All right.
Yeah, once in a lifetime. Probably my favorite trip I've ever done. Right. So.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. For me too, it was my favorite trip. All right, it was wonderful to have you on, my friend.
Yes. Yeah, we'll do this again soon.
Yeah, I hope so.
Like maybe a couple times before you move. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I have like most Mondays off, so easy to coordinate a Monday because I think you also have Mondays off.
Very successful first episode of the.
I agree.
Joe
like,
and Beef.
Very,
Do we
very,
even have a title?
very smooth.
Yet?
Yeah, we have no title yet.
Joe and Beef Experience.
The Joe, the Joe Beef Experience.
Just like
even stuff with
like
Joe, it's
generic,
perfect.
right?
We'll like get the algorithm going.
Oh, there you go.
The Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah. We both go bald. No, like anyone needs to go bald. It's me. You need to keep your hair, dude.
Yeah, I have my hair. So like I'm the Rogaine.
Yep.